Drones over Joyzy. Are you serious? Coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Encounters USA. As you know, we do aliens, we do Bigfoot, and we do Dogman here. And today we're going to be talking about these mysterious drones that are appearing over New Jersey. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is that I am a drone owner. I'm a drone pilot, and this is my drone. So we're going to be talking about whether or not these things are actually drones today, because we do aliens on our podcast, as my t-shirt shows. I think you can see it right there. Aliens. See that? It's hard to get the, one side here and one side there, but there it is, aliens. You can pick this shirt up at encountersusa.com along with our other merchandise. And you can also find links to the equipment we use when we're out doing field research. But today, I want to talk about what's going on in New Jersey, because in the last few weeks, I've been doing daily updates on these China UFOs, which are also claimed to be drones, right? But if you watch any of the footage that people are showing, these drones are incredibly large. So let me just point out to you that these are not happening just in the United States, but they have been happening all over the world. And what we really need to be concerned about is the fact that these are not drones, which we're going to see in a second, and that the government is now lying about what are pretty much obviously UFOs. So we have to be really concerned about that, because the government says it's going to come out and start disclosing all this information about UFOs. But now that when we get these UFOs that are rather brazen in their appearances, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe they are drones from somewhere, but in a few seconds or a few minutes, we're going to see why I don't think that's the case looking at my own drone. But for right now, I am just shocked actually that the government is taking another tangent without just admitting to people yet that yes, these are being flown by people we don't know. We don't know where they're from, and we don't know what they're doing. But instead, they still try to put this back on this something like explainable technology. And I'll go back to the China balloon, which they said, oh, that could be like a UFO, or they're trying to associate the China balloon with UFOs, right? To protect the Biden administration. So, what is going on over in New Jersey right now? We're just going to look at some of the footage right here, and we're just going to see if, just from looking at it, these really look like the drones that you and I can go out and fly, and why this is probably not going to be admitted by the government. So, let's go in and look at this footage of this drone here. This is the first drone that I saw, the first footage that I saw, and I saw this on Twitter. And then here are a couple of more shots of UFO, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say UFOs, I'll say drones. And yes, these are shots of drones and supposed drones, and these are all taken over New Jersey, and these are mass sightings. Now, let me just go back to my videos that I've done earlier about China and look at these videos, which the government says are also drones. So let's just get into just debunking this whole drone. Okay, so just by looking at the size, and let's just look at this. This is a civilian drone, right? So just looking at the size of this drone, this could actually, from what I can see from this footage, this looks like it could be piloted. It is huge. It is not something that you're going to find on the commercial market. So these are not, some pranksters out having some fun. Okay. So that's the first thing. The size of these things is incredible. So these are actually, not, I think we could rule out any kind of commercial drone. And were they to be a drone, they'd be extremely, extremely expensive. And then there's some other details that we're going to have to get into right now. And the first thing that I want to get into is I want to show you this. This is, for people who don't know what a drone is, this is how I control the drone, right? So when you see, here, I'll just show you this again. I have little knobs here and little joysticks that I control the drone with. So I just want you to understand that if these drones are up in the air, there is somebody that is controlling them, right? Now, that brings us to another point about my controller. Now, when I have this on, this has a display on it, and right here, it will tell me how many satellites. There's usually like 20, 18 to 20 some satellites that are in space outside of any given area. So the thing will tell me how many satellites are available to my network, and that means that those satellites can key in on this controller, right? The satellites can key in on that drone. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So these are very large objects and they have to be controlled by somebody. They have to be controlled by somebody, and whoever is controlling that drone is controlling them because they are linked to and they're getting signals from satellites, which are also in turn getting signals from them. All right. So the next thing that I want to show you here is this. These are batteries to and I'll just tell you this here. This is a DJI Mini Pro 4K, and I'll leave a link in the description. But it has a 4K camera on it, and it's really super duper, and it's also very small. So if you're going to be flying these incredibly large drones, and this is just one battery, right? It lasts about 18 minutes. And so that's this small of a drone with that battery will last a very short amount of time. But these drones apparently are being seen by a lot of people over a long period of time. So let's just go back and then try to put these things together now. Okay, so got a very large appearing drone and a number of them. They have to be controlled by somebody using a controller that gives out signals, and the signals go to and from the drone and to a satellite so that it can do things like my drone has obstacle avoidance. So it uses the satellite signals somehow. It's like magic, but that will keep you from running into things. So uh, there is there are any number of satellites that know, and the rules in the United States, if you are a satellite or a drone user, you know that this rules here are very strict and that when that satellite goes up, everybody knows it's there, right? There's no hiding it. There's no, oh, what is that flying there? Is that a UFO? No, that thing is giving off so much information about you, your phone number, et cetera, et cetera. So that controller then, that is talking back and forth to these satellites, is definitely known to the FAA. There's no doubt about it, and the rules are very strict. And if a civilian were to break those rules, they would have a policeman or law enforcement showing up on their door immediately. So there are a number of these objects, and obviously they have to be controlled by a number of people. I don't know about how they could have a network of these with like one person controlling them. They have to be controlled by a number of these controllers by satellite, and these things take batteries, and to keep an object in the air for that long of time would require, especially of that size, would require a huge battery. So there is your drone theory, and it just really, to anybody, it just doesn't make sense because number one, the FAA could shut down the drones immediately. They could just go find out who's flying them. They would know exactly where they are, and they could just go and shut them down. They're not doing that. But then there's something else that I want you to understand. And first of all, just the fact that they're calling them drones and not admitting to the fact that they don't actually know what they are is their reaction and the reaction of the FAA. And I was watching Fox News, so I'll just go ahead and put this up for you to read. This is from the FAA about it, or about the what they call the drones. Okay, so they don't think that the drones are posing any specific threat. They don't think that there's anything wrong with them, et cetera, et cetera. But the reports that I saw were that they were able to turn off people's radios, and they were messing with their clocks, I believe, in the car. And then once the objects or the quote unquote drones left, then everything went back to normal. So I'm not, going to say a lot more about this. I'm just going to, I want to keep you updated on these especially these UFOs that keep appearing, and the fact that governments around the world, while trying to say that, yes, we're going to disclose this information, governments around the world are continuing to call them drones, right? They're not swamp gas anymore. Now they're drones. But as you've seen, drones are governed by a very strict set of rules, and they are controlled by somebody. They use power that has to be they have to be recharged every now and they are easily traceable via satellite. So you have to, look at the evidence, and the evidence for drones is there, and you see what a drone does, and how a drone works, and you have to ask yourself, is this really a drone that is doing this, or is this something that they just don't want me to know? And the other more important thing, and why I keep covering these so-called drone sightings, is because there are more and more of them all the time. And I think that the government is, their hand is being forced, that these entities, whatever, there are a lot more of them now, and they appear to be not so much concerned about whether we see them or not. And it, based on recent activity where planes couldn't land, and that was an incident with these drones, is that a helicopter couldn't take off in an emergency rescue situation because of these drones. And so they are actually interrupting our airspace. And again, you know, to use that as part of my evidence, that if the drone pilot was interrupting a rescue operation, that drone pilot would be in a lot of trouble, and not over time they would be in trouble immediately, because as I said, you can find them immediately. So but this is not the first time this has interrupted our airspace. and it is obviously becoming, more and more of a problem. And the fact that the government is not even being honest about it just bodes ill for the rest of us because we don't know what these people, these things, these aliens, we don't really know why we're here or why they're here. And I've written a book about this, and you can see it at, it's called Deceptions of the Ages. So I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to extraterrestrials. So that's what I have to say about this so far, about these sightings in New Jersey. And I hope this is enough to keep you updated on what is happening. And if I hear of any further developments, then I will certainly let you know. But I'd like to know if you would just leave your comments in the description. Do you think that this is an alien presence, or do you think that they're really drones? I'd like to know what you think, and I'd like to know why you think that. Because from what I've seen, well, you see what I've seen. And if you've ever flown a drone or you're interested in drones or whatever, then you're going to want to check out my movies and videos because I'm incorporating a lot of drone footage into what I'm doing, especially my latest movie on UFOs at Mount Adams called ESETI Ranch Stargate, The Portal Opens. So yeah, and if you look at my Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery movies, well, again, you have aliens and you have UFOs, detected by remote viewers. So, yeah, there's a lot going on now, and I hope that you will like and subscribe to this channel because I'm doing my best to keep you updated, and I'm doing my best to keep you updated on Bigfoot and Dogman as well. So, if you are out flying a drone looking for Bigfoot or aliens or Dogman, or if you're out in Jersey and you're out cruising around and you see these strange lights, remember, always watch your back.